I was born in 1940. I grew up in the 40s and the 50s, but, you know, when there was a Roy Rogers movie or a Gene Autry movie, I always went because I was a cowboy type thing. And probably about 1946, my dad and mother took me down to the Jaffa Mosque in Altoona to see Gene Autry in person and his champion, his super horse. And I remember, you know, what a thrill that was. When we would go to a carnival or the fair, I would take off straight for the horse barn because I wanted to see the ponies, the horses. Didn't matter if it was a pony, a workhorse, or whatever. And I was definitely attracted to them. And when we'd go to carnival, I wanted to ride the merry-go-round. I didn't like the Ferris wheel. You know, here you go, you just like the pony stuff. But I would say to my mother, who had a good personality and handled it good, well, Hal, if we lived out in the country, I'd get you a pony. But even as young as I might have been, 7, 8 years old, I knew we weren't moving to the country. So I had to do something about that. The doctor, the local doctor that took care of the family had 4 or 5 horses a half a mile from where we lived. And one time I was in the doctor's office and I said about, could I come down and work or do something for you? Probably I was about 11 then. And he said, what'd you have in mind? He said, I'd do anything if I could get to ride and help out and do all this. And my mother said, oh, something like, oh, he'll get over this horse thing. And the doctor said, well, I don't think so. He seems like a kid that really is into it. And I got a job working for our local doctor. His name was John Allen Murray, and he had a brother, George, that was also good friends of the family, worked for Bethlehem Steel. And at 11, 12 years old, I would get on and muck out stalls, clean horses, do everything to earn the right to go riding with them on the weekends. And I did that for several years. And the school that I went to was about a block and a half from this barn. And when I was 12 years old, I had a cousin that used to work for them a little bit. Well, he graduated high school, and I looked at it like a job. They needed somebody to go down and water the horses at noon and give them some hay. There's probably 5 horses there all the time. And I asked Doc Murray, I said, boy, my cousin Bob is going to go to college now. Could I get that job? And he said, yeah, I think we could give that to you. And so I was thrilled to death because when the noon bell would ring, I'd tear out of the school, go down around the block and go feed the horses, give them hay, and the actual pay for that was $2 a week. And every Friday night, you would go over to the doctor's office. They had a front door and a back door like most places do. And all I had to do was go to the back door, knock, and the nurse would answer it. And she'd say, hey, Hal Hoover's here. And a minute later, she'd hand me $2. When we would deliver, I would ride with my dad and go deliver oil to the farms, gas to the farms. First thing I usually did, and we knew these farmers, they were customers and friends in this small area like this. If they had a horse or a pony or something, I'd jump out of the fuel truck as a kid, 12, 13 years old, head straight for the barn. Always said, someday I'm going to get my own horse, I'm going to live out in the country, the whole works. I, as a young guy, had a plan, and I was very familiar with this area that we're in right now because it's just out of town. And I even liked the idea if I could ever buy some land, I wanted to buy this direction. I liked out this way.